Hello, this is the House on Podcast Hill. My name is Zoe.
And I'm Gabby.
Yep, my lovely wife is sitting in the co-pilot seat right now, and we're about to tackle this motherfucker. You all ready for this? Sorry, that was just really weird. All right, so yeah, we are back here for our next episode, episode 3, and we're about to talk about basically just kind of like the haunted hotels of Los Angeles, and just kind of about the stories about them. I have a couple stories of actual ghost things, but most of my information is actually just going to be the facts of the deaths and the stuff that happened at the hotel, which caused people to come up with these stories and say they've seen these people and all this stuff. So,
Hotel hauntings.
hotel hauntings of LA, yes. Are you excited?
I'm shaking in my boots.
Yep, there's the skeptic. All right, so here we go. We're going to start with the Biltmore Hotel. Actually, first of all, I will give credit out to Colin Dickey. I believe that's his name. He wrote the book where I got some of my information from. He's kind of the basis of the idea for this podcast. It's called Ghostland, Adventure Around America's Haunted Places or something like that. Sorry for butchering that name, Mr. Dickey. So just give a shout out to him. I mean, it's a pretty good book of what I've read so far. Basically just takes you all over America into like prisons, asylums, brothels, hotels, houses, all types of stuff, you know. So, but yeah, I got this out of kind of a chapter. But so here we go. The Biltmore Hotel. All right. So the Biltmore Hotel opened in 1923. And it was the largest hotel east of the Chicago at its time. So, yeah.
Okay.
Also, another cool fact about it is in the Crystal Ballroom there, that is where the Academy of Motion Picture Sciences was founded in 1927. So, and the first 8 Academy Award ceremonies were held there down in a underground banquet room called the Biltmore Bowl. So lots of stars have kind of been there, and that's generally what you find around in LA for these hauntings is that celebrities haunt the hotels.
Famous people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just little fun facts. So number one, people always talk about is like everybody just thinks this place is haunted for some reason. You know, there's creaky pipes. Just weird feelings, you know, people walking through the halls. People are saying like they walk down and they expect like to find some history of someone being butchered in a freaking room or something like that. I don't know. It's kind of odd. I mean, and they also, you know, have that feeling like most people get with like large old hotels is that it's like it's live, you know, like it's a breathing hotel. So it always gives people that haunted feeling. All right, so let's get into some things. Well, let's say in October 2010. A girl by Laura Finley, she fell 6 flights down the stairwell to her death.
How?
It doesn't really say, I can't really find a thing where they can actually find the cause of why she fell or she was murdered. They don't know. All they know is a few hours after her death, she was found half naked at the bottom of the stairwell. And not to mention, 2 hours after that, her husband, Joe Finley, he auditioned in the lobby in front of Pierce Morgan, Sharon Osbourne, and Howie Mandel for the next season of America's Got Talent.
Wait, after?
Yeah, after. I found some information where they talk about that he was high on ecstasy most of the day, and they think the lady was too, actually. I don't know.
Well, wouldn't they find that in her system if they did an autopsy?
I think so, but I mean, I don't know. From what little information that I actually could find on this, it didn't really have much. I mean, it did say that the husband was high most of the day. It didn't say much about her, whether she was high. I mean, everybody treated the whole thing kind of oddly, too, you know, because no one knew exactly how you fall down 6 flights of stairs.
Sounds like a murder to me.
Yep. So, yeah, that's just one neat little weird death I found out there. No one ever got charged or nothing like that. From what I saw, Joe Finley didn't make it that far in America's Got Talent. So he whatever. But yeah,
So is that just like a possible haunting, or have people like actually seen her in the hotel?
I couldn't find any stories where they actually seen her. That's just a death that's happened at the hotel.
Okay.
Most people think. All right. Well, number one is the 10th and the 11th floor of the hotel apparently have the most spooky appearances and stuff like that. People, workers of the hotel, seeing things like move around and stuff like that. There's like a VIP lounge on one of those floors. Apparently, some freaky stuff happens during that. People working there like at midnight and shit like that. So that's where most of the actual haunted stuff is. But most people think it is haunted by not the one, the only Elizabeth Short. Do you know what Elizabeth Short is?
No.
She is what they call the Black Dahlia. Like the Black Dahlia murder. You have no idea what the Black Dahlia murder is?
No idea what you're talking about.
Okay, all right, so it's a pretty long story. I'll probably end up doing a full thing about it because there's a lot of, conspiracy around the whole thing. So I'll just do this. Essentially, is that at the hotel was the last place anyone ever saw an actress named Elizabeth Short.
Okay.
All they know is that one day, some people were walking down the sidewalk in South Los Angeles, and they found her naked, dismembered body.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Here I have. This might be a little graphic. I have what they call the autopsy report.
Oh.
I wrote down here. So, okay, so the body had been completely cut in half between the second and third lumbar vertebrae, thus severing the intestine at the duodenum. And there was a lot of bruising along the incision line, meaning that was performed after death. And there was a gaping laceration measuring 4.25 inches in length, running latitude from the umbilicus to the suprapubic region. This guy basically gut her.
Oh.
And she was also, I think it says here, the lacerations on each side of her face were extended form from the corners of the lips were measured 3 inches on the right side of the face and 2.5 inches. So basically cut her like that.
He just made us smell kind of like the Joker.
Kind of like the Joker. Yeah, but like very gruesome and actually in real life. The skull was not fractured, but there was noted bruising on the front and right blows to her head. The cause of death was determined to be a hemorrhaging form from the lacerations of her face and shocks from the blow to the head and the face. They also said that her anal canal was dilated 1.75 inches, suggesting that she might have been raped. They found presence of sperm. I mean, this happened in crap. I didn't write the date down for this. 1945 or something like that. It was in the 40s when they found this girl, and she's a big deal here in this kind of whole world of murder and everything like that, because her killer was never found, and it's just a shock that she was found in such a grotesque manner.
Were there any other bodies? I mean,
Nope, this is the only one.
That's some freaking hate towards one person right there.
Yes, there is. And I don't know all the specific details actually here for what I'm about to say, but I actually did hear when I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts, the last podcast on the left. They were talking about the Cleveland, the butcher of Kingsbury Run or whatever, the Cleveland guy, serial killer. He was a pretty big famous serial killer way back in the day. But they're saying that one of the guys that people suspect that was the killer, after he got done doing stuff there, he moved to he actually lived in Los Angeles during this time when Elizabeth Short was actually murdered. So there's a possible connection between those two. Like I said, I mean, I don't want to just be throwing speculation out there. I mean, well, all this is really speculation. But, I mean, I'm just trying to really give mostly facts. So this is something I heard from another podcast, and I'm probably doing a horrible way of relaying the information. But, yeah, so, I mean, there's just a possible connection between the Butcher of Kingsbury Run and Elizabeth Short, the Black Dahlia, but there's no concrete evidence to support that.
Okay, so the Black Dahlia, was she like found outside of a hotel or
No,
something?
she was found. Actually, I've been around where she was found when I was living in Los Angeles. I haven't been to the exact spot. That'd been kind of creepy. But it was found in South Los Angeles in Larimer Park area. It was kind of like a... It's hard to say. Like, there's kind of like a hotel building kind of like right here, like a rented rooms and stuff like that. And it was just kind of dirt back here. It's just kind of a dirt area. And that's where she was found. People were walking down on the sidewalk. I think it was like a woman and her daughter or something like that. And that's when they found her body. Also, her body was completely drained of blood.
Drained?
Yes.
Like, what, a vampire or something?
I don't know. It just said that. I just remember reading that. It said that the body was completely drained of blood. So, like...
So, like, there's no blood at the scene? So she was, like, cut up and drained somewhere else and then dropped off there?
I'm guessing. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'll probably do another podcast on this. Just murder, because it's pretty crazy. They have photos of the body if you ever want to look at it. It's pretty grotesque. So, yeah.
So, I'm sorry, I got off track. What does this have to do with the hotels? Or the hauntings, I should say?
The only really connect it has is that at this specific hotel, Elizabeth Short was saw at this hotel. Like, she was seen at this hotel before her, her untimely death. So there's some people who think that the Biltmore is haunted by her. I couldn't find any specific people saying that she haunts the Biltmore. But from what I was reading is that apparently there's talks among people saying that she haunts the Biltmore Hotel, even though she didn't die there. I don't know. Maybe she got killed there first and then taken. I mean, there's really no actual evidence to prove, something like that.
Okay.
So, so that's what I got on the Biltmore Hotel. So we're going to head on to our next hotel. It's a hotel that's actually not far away from the Biltmore. It's called the Knickerbocker. It was designed by an architect, E.M. Fraser, in the Spanish colonial revival style. Sorry about this. The historic hotel opened June in 1929, and it catered to the region's film industry, essentially. Like, it was a site for some of Hollywood's most dramatic moments, actually. Like, a lot of stuff happened. Like, on Halloween in 1936, Harry Houdini's widow held her 10th seance to contact Harry beyond the grave on the roof of this hotel. So that's a little something weird that's happened. Some people also say that it is haunted by Elvis Presley. He didn't die there, but he stayed in room 1016 while filming his first movie, Love Me Tender. And he was there for a while. It sounded like a month or two or something like that. So, I don't know. Maybe people just believe the presence of Elvis, the king, left over, create some sort of haunting. I can't tell you. William Frawley, he played Fred Mertz on I Love Lucy. He actually dropped dead in the foyer at the hotel.
Are you serious?
Yep. Unknown cause of death.
Whoa.
So, that's someone actually had died at the hotel. You never know.
I didn't know that he just dropped dead. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And also Frances Farmer. She was a very famous actress. This is another dramatic incident that happened at the hotel. She was an actress, film actress. She played in like Among the Brave and a couple other popular films. But she had paranoid schizophrenia. And she actually had to be arrested and institutionalized against her will from this establishment here. She was staying here, and I guess the police had to come and arrest her in her room and forcefully take her to an asylum due to her, illness. So
Mental illness, yeah.
Yeah, her mental illness, her schizophrenia. So, I mean, I don't know if that would cause an haunting, but I mean, I don't know. I guess we're just talking about stories, that could possibly lead some bad juju around, I guess.
Yeah.
So, and also, Irene Lintz. She was a pretty famous costume designer. And in 1962, she jumped out of her 11th floor bathroom window to her death. She committed suicide, believed, because she was distraught over the death of Gary Cooper. So, yeah, so, I mean, some pretty dramatic things have happened in this hotel, and some people have died at this hotel. I wouldn't be surprised if there's more than just what I found. Yeah, but that is the, the Knickerbocker. Yeah, that is the Knickerbocker Hotel, guys. All right, so now we're going to go to a famous hotel that one of my wife's favorite YouTubers, Shane Dawson. Shout out to Shane Dawson, if he's listening to this.
Like he knows us.
He actually stayed at this hotel overnight one time, the Roosevelt Hotel. It's pretty famous for being haunted in LA. I can't really find any many like deaths that have actually happened. Just apparently a lot of these people haunt this hotel. Celebrities haunt this hotel. It was opened in May 15th, 1927, and is the oldest continually operating hotel in Los Angeles. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, apparently in the Cabana Room 246, apparently it's haunted by Marilyn Monroe. Montgomery Clift, he apparently plays the trombone all hours of the night. And other people have been seen. Apparently Clark Gable, Carol Lombard, and Harry Lee. Apparently other people have been seen at this hotel. People reported instances of seeing figures that look like these people. So I guess I'm going to give a little background on why some people think these people have been here before. Well, number one, Marilyn Monroe, she lived at the hotel for 2 years early in her career and posed for her first commercial photography shoot at by the rooftop pool. And her and Arthur Miller were said to have met at the hotel's Sin Grill nightclub, and that was one of her many lovers. So yeah, so she lived there for 2 years. So I don't know, maybe that leaves behind something. I think I believe she died at her home, if I remember correctly. That's where they found her.
She committed suicide at her home.
What has it actually been ruled as a suicide, or was it just an overdose?
I'm pretty sure it was ruled as a suicide because you don't accidentally take that many pills.
Some people do. Some people lose track and actually end up overdosing.
Well, I'm pretty sure she took like a whole bottle of like sleeping pills or something.
Yeah, I knew it was like sleeping pills or something, but I just couldn't remember if it actually was classified as a suicide. I mean, I know some people hold it in that manner. I mean, and I understand why people would hold it in that manner, just due to.
I mean, her life. Sucked, and I believe she herself had some kind of. I think she was like bipolar. I want to say she had some kind of mental illness that really affected her, and that they really didn't have help or treatment for back then.
Yeah. So.
Excuse me.
But yeah, so that's kind of people think she's haunts theirs just because you lived there for 2 years, I guess. So I don't know. I mean, I don't make the rules on how ghosts work. So, all right. So Montgomery Clift, he stayed at the hotel for 3 months in 1952 during the filming of From Here to Eternity. So there's some of that. Frances Farmer also. She was one of those people from the last. She was honored at a party here in 1958. The night she appeared on Ralph Edwards' This Is Your Life. So, I don't know. Some people have said that she hangs around there, but apparently she hangs around the Knickerbocker too. So, who knows? Errol Flynn, he's also rumored to have created his own recipe for bootleg gin in the tub at the hotel's barber shop. Shirley Temple, she learned to do her famous stair-step dance routine on the hotel stairs. So that's some kind of famous stuff. And then, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, other notable guests who possibly haunt the hotel. Charlie Chaplin, Clark Gable, Max Baer Sr., Carol Lombard, Mary Martin, F. Scott Fitzgerald, Ernest Hemingway, Prince. I don't think Prince haunts it, but yeah.
Honestly, so far it kind of sounds like people are just wanting to put a name drawn to it. Like maybe they've experienced some really creeping stuff, like some, I don't know, supernatural stuff, but they want to put a name to it.
Yeah, I mean,
so they're like, this person, that person.
I think when unexplained phenomena happens, or if you want to call that exactly phenomena, I mean, unexplained experiences of like paranormal type of stuff, people always try to make sense out of something, and it's easy, especially in Los Angeles, where especially lots of people stay and stuff like that, to put something to this, So for that hotel, no one died there from what I looked up. So, it's hard to actually think that that place is actually haunted. But
by those people.
Yeah, or haunted by those people at the most. At least with the Knickerbocker, a couple of people have died there in tragic circumstances. So, that makes sense that place would be haunted by those people. But I don't know. At the same time, I don't want to like discredit things because, you could believe that people are crazy, but at the end of the day, most people are just like me and you. So, and when they experience something weird, they just try to figure out and put a name to it. So, for all I know, is they actually did see something. Doesn't mean that it was Marilyn Monroe, but they possibly did see something at that hotel.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much all I got on that hotel. The next one, it's not really much worth like mentioning, but like apparently in the Culver Hotel, the ghost of the dwarf actors who played the Munchkins in The Wizard of Oz, which was filmed right across the street at Sony Studios, some people have made like things of like whispers and stuff like that at the hotel, but none of them died there. So, I could kind of just dismiss that because I think people are just trying to put something like sometimes I feel like hotels like might try to do that themselves, trying to create some sort of
oh yeah, just to bring in people.
Yeah, just to bring in people. So I don't know, but I don't want hotel people to be mad at us for saying that. But this is our third episode, so who's probably listening to this podcast? If you're listening to this podcast, I really appreciate it, but I doubt any hotels are going to be suing us for what we're saying because we don't have that much of influence right now. So yeah, all right, so here we go. Next hotel, the Aztec Hotel. All right, here we go. Far from downtown Los Angeles, in this tiny hamlet of Monrovia, stands the Aztec Hotel. It's a Mayan revival design. It was in the 1920s by Frank Lloyd Wright's contemporary Rocket Stacy Judd. The hotel was a roadside attraction that made Route 66 famous, so it's kind of right off Route 66. But eventually the interstate freeway system made that area kind of dead, and that hotel's gone through many owners and stuff like that. And the guy who I was reading, he was talking about how some of his friends who have this kind of ghost sighting people, they're called Gula. I forget exactly what it stands for, ghost hunting in Los Angeles or something like that. There are some people who take special interest in finding stuff like this. But apparently they would go to this hotel and they would kind of go in the basement and use EVP and all that stuff, try to record and try to get some spooky things, because apparently some guest have talked about some experiences and stuff like that. So I don't know. I couldn't really find. This is what we got. Apparently, room 120 is actually the haunted room, not the basement. It's haunted by a ghost named Razzle Dazzle, a name that's been given to it by psychics who have visited the room from over the years. There's many versions of the story, but one of the stories is Razzle Dazzle was a prostitute who was murdered in room 120 by a John. And then there's other things of like a newly married actress who fell to her death on her wedding night. Like she hit her head on a heater and she died instantly. But this story's been told over and over again. Like it's hard to actually, think like that's actually like some legit story. You know, it's folklore at that point. Razzle dazzle, you know, that's kind of a odd name for a ghost. But they did do some researching here, and I read this is that apparently when the hotel did open, locals of Elk Lodge operated a monthly gambling and drinking night in the basement. It was something that was unsanctioned by the cops during Prohibition, except perhaps maybe a few like James Quiggle and Frank Scott. These are like names that people think they've heard whispered down in the basement and stuff like that. And they've probably were either bribed or taken a cut for the action. I mean, it's plausible because, I mean, they have some actual information saying that stuff like this did happen. And, you know, when something illegal like that's happening, who knows whether, you know, a violent incident or a murder during one of these parties has actually happened. And they also did find that apparently an informal name of one of these monthly parties was Razzle Dazzle Nights.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
So, yeah. So that's kind of interesting that, I mean, can't explain how the psychics came up with that. I mean, other than they did their research and did the whole fake thing there. I don't know. I'm not really a person who doesn't believe in psychics. I mean, I believe that there are some out there that actually can do stuff like that, you know. But I'm also very negative kind of towards traveling people who go around and doing stuff like that because sometimes it seems like a con to me, you know.
Yeah. Then maybe okay. So hold on. You said that the haunted room is like room 2 something or other.
Yes.
But the card games, the secret card games, were held downstairs in the basement.
In the basement.
Okay. Well, what if, like, the person isn't named Razzle Dazzle, but something happened in one of those card games? You know, like someone owed someone money or got mad or, you know, whatever happens at secret card games in the basement, and this person's trying to, like, let people know. Like, if it really is a ghost. I just like to speculate. I'm having fun. And what if that ghost is just like Razzle Dazzle, that card game? Something happened. Like, you know.
Yeah, I thought about that also. Like, you know, prostitution's been around forever. And I assume that there are prostitutes at this, you know, illegal drinking and gambling joint. Mm-hmm. So maybe, like, someone, or maybe, like, one of these girls saw this guy winning a lot. You know, that's kind of what I thought. Like, he won a lot, so she took her up to a room, you know, to supposedly have some fun. And then when he caught her trying to steal his money, you know, he killed her. And, you know, I mean, then like you said, something about like razzle dazzle, you know, stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't know, that's, I mean, there is no actual report of any murder or anything like that that's ever happened at this hotel. They went through like headlines and stuff like that, couldn't really find anything at all. So, I mean, but at the same time, if it would happen at some like unsanctioned card game or gambling where the cops are being bribed and paid off, was not to say that they, you know, completely made this murder go away too, especially since if they were making money off the card games and everything like that, they're not going to ruin that. So they might as well just take the person who doesn't matter out of here. Yeah. And then her ghost gets left behind to haunt the fuck out of people.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sure that's really happened. Like, that's happened more than once. Maybe not current day, but that's totally plausible to me.
Oh, yeah. I definitely can see that, too. So, I mean... So, yeah. So, let's say the Aztec, possibly haunted. Yeah, I don't know.
That's the most plausible one you've given me tonight.
Well, I don't know. The Knickerbocker. You know, the suicide and the guy just dropping dead and stuff like that. So...
I mean, yeah, that's a possibility, but you haven't really given me anything like people experiencing a haunting. You've just given me deaths that have happened.
Well, like I said, I couldn't find any specific people who were saying this. Like, I mean, I guess I could go on to like Reddit or something, you know, and get this stuff, but how would I know I'm not getting copied from like a creepypasta or something? What?
Not a reliable source. Just so everyone knows, Reddit, I do not accept it as a reliable source of information.
I don't know. I accept it as somewhat of a reliable thing of information because, I mean, I don't know, it's kind of crazy. Like the whole Erons and everything like that for the Golden State Killer Reddit group. Apparently, they did a lot of research, and I mean, there's groups like that who've actually helped, like try to track down like a serial killer or something like that. Sorry, Erons, East Area Rapist, original Night Stalker.
Okay, well, we're getting off point. What I'm trying to say is, out of all the information you've given me, that one is the most reliable and the most believable to me.
Wait till we hear this next one.
No.
Oh, yes. Here we go. All right, so the Cecil Hotel. Everybody knows this. It's pretty famous for some of these instances I'm going to be telling you right now. All right, so number one, it was built in 1924 and it was originally advertised for traveling businessmen. So it's kind of like an in and out type of joint, but kind of classy at the same time because it's businessmen, But, after World War II, the core of Los Angeles emptied out as people fled to the suburbs. They were just getting tired of the downtown, so it left it pretty empty. So most of the smaller hotels were torn down while the large bulk ones stayed up and they were left behind. And that's one of them is the Cecil. Cecil, it's a 700-room hotel, and it's mainly occupied by transients, and it's right there against Skid Row, so you have kind of that weird element of criminals / just homeless, drug-addled people. So, I mean, so it's kind of a nice hotel to go to, But, so here we go. Some of the people who have stayed there, we're going to start with the people who've stayed there. 2 famous serial killers have actually stayed in this place. Richard Ramirez, number 1. He lived there for a while. He was called the Night Stalker. He was from Texas, and I'll probably end up doing a whole podcast about him, so I won't give away too much things, even though everybody probably knows this guy already. But he killed like 14 people, and mainly a lot of it was like elderly people too. So it was kind of a thing. So, but yeah, he stayed here for a while. And also Jack Unterweger. It's an Austrian serial killer. He also stayed there for a while. And actually here's some information. All right, so Unterweger was convicted of murdering a prostitute in 1974. He served 15 years in prison, and during which he established himself as a successful writer. And upon his release in 1990, he came to LA on a writing assignment. And while he stayed at the Cecil, he killed at least 3 more prostitutes. I couldn't really find information whether he killed it at the hotel. I assume he did. I don't know where else he would have gone to murder the prostitutes other than where he was living. But yeah, so but that's what I think. But at the same time, there's like no actual information whether Richard Ramirez or this guy actually killed within the walls of the Cecil. They have there's like no reports or nothing unless these people somehow got rid of the evidence incredibly. But that wasn't until the strange death of Elisa Lam in 2013. I know you've heard of this because it's kind of was like an internet phenomenon. Like it was a big thing because this video came out of the last known video. It was her of like in this hotel elevator, and she was like looking around, and then she was like doing all crazy things. Looked like she was in an argument with no one that was there and stuff like that. So here, I'll give you some information. She was a Canadian student vacationing in LA, and she has been She's been staying at the Cecil, and when she disappeared, her body was found almost 3 weeks later in the hotel's rooftop water tank.
Oh yeah, okay, I remember this one now.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah, and the only reason they found that is because the residents were complaining about a smell, and I guess the color of their water from the drinking tap was kind of a different color.
It was black.
Yeah, so it's pretty disgusting. But yeah, so no, this whole thing is very weird because all right, so they found a elevator security video. It was filmed shortly before her death. It says that she entered the elevator and presses the button, but nothing happens after a few seconds. So she goes back into the hall, and she appears to be engaged in a heated conversation with someone who can't be seen. No one really. Yeah, it's weird. Then she goes back into elevator, and she presses her body against the wall as if she was trying to hide from someone. Like, this is very strange because no one can figure out exactly what she's doing and like why this is happening. And it looks like, I mean, because there's like nothing there. Like, there was no one like in front of the door or anything like that causing it from closing or nothing.
Yeah, and I remember that video. From what I remember of that video, she didn't seem like she was in a heated argument. She seemed scared. Like, she would poke her head out of the elevator, look both ways, and then just go in and hide, like she was hiding from something.
And also, considering like how long like this whole thing was happening, I mean, it didn't show she wasn't holding a button to keep the door open at all or nothing, and it was just staying open.
Yeah, it wouldn't close.
So, I mean, it's very weird. I mean, and all I know is that she stands there for a while, and then she leaves the elevator, and then 3 weeks later, she's found dead in the water tank.
I mean, it had to be somebody who was working there, or like a repairman or something. I mean, I've thought about this one a lot. Man, bringing back memories from when I used to like just research mysteries and murder mysteries, but it had to have been somebody working in the hotel.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people also saying that she was psychotic, and some people believe that she went up there on her own volition and ended up drowning on accident or something like that.
There's no way. If you look at pictures of the rooftop, there's no way she could have gotten in there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing is it's crazy because compared to like the opening or whatever, that you can open the thing or whatever, like it's so small compared to like what her body.
Well, it's small, and there's not a ladder or anything up there. Like how the heck did she just get up there? How did someone, even if like it was a murder, how did they get her body up there? I mean, like there's no way. Sorry, I love murder mysteries. I'm sorry, I'm a nerd.
No, that's cool. I mean, like I said, so that's really strange. I mean, and this is at a hotel where 2 serial killers have lived, and possibly one murdered 3 more prostitutes in this. So, I mean, and like I said, the door for the elevator didn't close.
Mm-hmm.
It never closed through that whole video, and that video was like 4 or 5 minutes or something like that. Or wait, 3 minutes. 3 minutes. A 3-minute video, and the door never closed, which is pretty weird. Because, I mean, there had to be something in front of it the whole time. They really keep it like that because, I mean, even in 2013, which wasn't that long ago, hotel, things, they close pretty much instantly. They don't really stay open for long periods of time.
Yeah. Or, I mean, that's why it could have been somebody who worked at the hotel who knew the elevators, and he could have just, like, done whatever to make sure it didn't close. Forcing her to walk outside and, like, use the stairs or something where they could have gotten her.
Yeah, but how do you explain, like, the video footage work? Because you can't see anyone that's doing anything to her. Well, and, like, you can't even see who she's apparently arguing with. And then there's, like, she's pressing her body against the thing, like, scared for her life. And there's nobody, like, there.
Maybe it was a team. Maybe one guy was, like, watching on the security camera and, like, I don't know, maybe there's, like, a control room where he can, like turn off the elevator, Like, make it so it doesn't close. Maybe his or her, I'm sorry, their partner was out there, like, talking to her, saying, hey, come here. Like, come here. Like, come to the stairs. And she just got scared because you said she was a student, right? Like, visiting?
Yes. She's a Canadian student, and she was just vacationing in LA.
Well, maybe she just got scared. Random person in LA freaked her out.
I don't know. Or maybe the hotel's haunted.
No, God.
And it's a freaking ghost. It's a fucking ghost, Gabby.
It's not
It's a fucking ghost.
Stop. There's so many. I've given you so many logical explanations, and he's still.
Well, now I'm going to give you the illogical, which guess what?
What?
Life is illogical, so it doesn't.
No,
so that's what it is.
Life is logical.
No, life is not logical. Only science is logical, and even that, it's very unpredictable at the same time. So, but I guess there's always logic, even in unpredictability. But no matter what I'm saying, I'm going to give you this. Okay, so it was a ghost.
Okay.
All right, so maybe a prostitute died there, or maybe some other guy died there, or something like that, Mm-hmm. And, I mean, like I said, some people thought she was psychotic. like some of the other guests that were staying in the hotel who've actually seen her, around and everything like that. Some of the workers. So, I mean, what else would that be? You know what I'm saying? Like, she's acting crazy.
Well, has her family said anything on this? Are you going to take the word of random strangers or people who really knew her? Maybe she wasn't psychotic. Maybe people are just judgmental.
Well, she was apparently acting psychotic. That's all I was saying. Like, I wasn't saying that she was a psychotic, crazy lady, but from people who witnessed her behavior and what you saw in the fucking video, it's pretty crazy.
I gave you a logical explanation for that. Don't say that. And plus, what was her psychotic behavior? Or are people just saying she was acting weird?
She was acting paranoid. She was walking around. Apparently, she was doing some weird things. I should have wrote more of this down of like what she was doing that was making people think it was crazy.
Here, 1 second. I want to know.
Okay. Here, I can open my web browser here.
Is it not in the book?
No.
Oh. I thought it was in the book. That's why I ran away.
Well, she's there, but I don't think it actually has any explanations of why she was acting psychotic.
Yeah.
And Lisa
I want to know. Is she like talking to the walls? I mean, is she having like seizures in the middle of the floor for no reason? Like, is this The Exorcist? What's going on?
Here we go. All right, so okay, give you some background here. It said Lam is the daughter of immigrants from Hong Kong, and they opened a restaurant in Bunby, which is just outside of Canada. She was a student of the University of British Columbia, although she was not registered at the beginning of the year 2013, which is when she died. So it's kind of
skip to the weird stuff.
Skip to the weird stuff. All right, well, here we go. Actually, here we go. Here's some craziness. Well, Lam had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression, and she has been was prescribed 4 medications: Wellbutrin, Lamictal, Seroquel, and Elfexor to treat her disorder. And according to her family, who supposedly that kept her mental illness a secret, she had no history of suicidal ideation or attempts, although one report claimed that she has previously gone missing for brief periods of time. So there we go. So she's bipolar, so she's crazy. So
that's not okay. No. I'm gonna correct you there. If you're bipolar, that does not mean you're crazy.
Okay. Let me. All right. So sorry about that. She is not crazy.
Thank you.
I want to make sure to say that because I am someone who also suffers from mental health issues. So I'm not bipolar or nothing, but I do deal with depression and thoughts in my head and stuff like that. So I want to make sure and say that she's not crazy. But all I'm saying is that she did have some mental issues, and she was on four different medications. And apparently she's gone missing before. So this isn't the first time that something has happened. But here, let's see.
Okay, well, that doesn't prove your theory of a ghost.
Okay. All right, here we go. Well, this is just kind of talking more of so theories about Lan's behavior in the elevator did not stop with just her death. Some argue that she was attempting to hide from her pursuer, which is honestly kind of what it looks like. Mm-hmm. Perhaps someone ultimately responsible for her death, while others said that she was merely frustrated with the elevator's apparent malfunction. Some proponents of that theory also said she was under influence of illicit drugs and not dissuaded by the absence, and they weren't dissuaded. There's absence in her toxicology screening after her death that's saying that she wasn't on any drugs. So essentially, some people still think she was on drugs, even though her toxicology report didn't say that.
Well, but her body was degrading.
Autopsy report and its conclusions have been questioned. For instance, it does not say whether the results of a rape kit or a fingernail kit were even processed.
Yeah.
So that's kind of weird. And there was also says that there was subcutaneous pooling of blood in Lam's anal area, which some observers suggested a sign of sexual abuse. However, one pathologist has noted that it could also have resulted from bloating in the course of the body's decomposition, and her rectum was also prolapsed. So, but it looks like most of these coroners are actually concluding that Lamb's death was accidental, like she somehow was, up on these things and somehow drowned or everything from what this was saying. But I still think it's undetermined, because what the fuck, happened with this girl? Because, I mean, I don't know. Like, it doesn't make sense on what happened with her. And, she shouldn't have been able to even get up there, even if she did that on purpose and it was accidental.
There's no way that was an accident. No way.
So, yeah. So, I don't know. To me, I felt like I gave you some stuff about, because, so the toxicology report said that there were no drugs in her system or anything. So that means her medications were even in her system. So a bipolar disorder with, depression and stuff like that. It's not like they're schizophrenic or anything, but if a person who's on 4 medications and who happens to be off it at the time, they're going to be acting pretty strange.
But can we really trust that toxicology report? Because she was in water for 2 weeks, supposedly, we're assuming, and her body was decomposing to the point to where it was turning the water, going through the pipes and everything. I don't see how I could trust any information.
Yeah, it'd be pretty tough to actually trust some of this information, but hey, I don't know. No matter what, it's freaky, whether she was being haunted and got killed by a ghost, or whether she haunts, that hotel now, who knows? Yeah. It's just pretty crazy with the hotel's history, and also with that one serial killer who killed 3 more prostitutes when he was in LA here, and it's hard to believe he didn't do it at the hotel. Yeah. To me, that, and just with that hotel video, to me I can feel like I can make that leap to saying that maybe she was being haunted by a ghost or something like that. But at the same time, I feel like some guy killed her or something like that, at the same time. So
we're never gonna know.
I don't know. I'm not gonna make a declaration here yet. We're only in the 3rd episode, so I won't be making declarations yet. But I will say that I still think it's really possible that she was haunted and killed by a ghost. That's all I will say about that. But it's still really possible that it was a serial killer.
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah. And so that's what I got for this Cecil.
I unplugged myself. Can't hear anything. Okay. Continue.
So that's all I got for the Cecil. So we're going to the Hotel Bonaventure. I don't know how to say it. It's Bonaventure, I guess. That's what it looks like to me. Here, let me...
Can we take a potty break?
Okay. We'll take a potty break. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. My wife had to take a potty break, and I needed to... Yep, I had to just clear up a couple things with my nose here. Still not really sick anymore, just, still stuffed a little bit. So sorry if I'm sounding kind of nasal here on y'all.
I'm not. Y'all have to deal with it. Me and my sniffles.
All right, so next we're going to talk about our last hotel here, the Hotel Bonaventure. Yep.
What?
Bonaventure.
No, try that again.
The Bonaventure.
The Bonaventure?
The Bonaventure.
The Bonaventure?
Yeah, it's Bonaventure. Bonaventure.
Bonaventure.
It's like
French?
The venture of adventure, just with Bona before. Bonaventure. Bonaventure. All right, so yeah, the Bonaventure. It's designed by architect John Portman in 1976, and it's still standing largest hotel in the city. So, yep. It's easily recognizable by the shape of the 5 clustered glass cylinders, has made it a landmark in Los Angeles. And inside there is a massive atrium dominated by concrete pillars and is populated with floating plazas, rings, and balconies. So, sounds like a weird and pretty unique place. So, I don't know. I wouldn't mind staying there, but I also kind of want to stay at the Cecil to see if Elisa Lam tries to come and kill me. So, and by the way, when I joke stuff like about that, I'm not really joking about her death or anything. So I want to make sure that people know that I do respect, and like it's horrible that this young lady died in a weird, tragic way. So
we just have sick, twisted senses of humor. So
yeah, I mean, some of the best forms of comedy is just your darkest feelings just made happy. So that's what I try to do with most things, because I have dark thoughts in my head. So at the Bonaventure, there's not much on it other than that Eli and Esther Reuven were murdered in the Bonaventure in 1979 during a drug deal gone south. Apparently, their bodies were dismembered and they were carried out in trash bags. Classy, yep. So, I mean, it's pretty weird. I mean, I don't know, that's a murder in a pretty grotesque way. So I don't know. Haunting, I don't know. But that's just one of the things people say that kind of haunt the hotel. I mean, either haunts it an actual ghost or just, bad press because drug dealers got murdered there. So, but in the basement also lives another ghost. A redhead girl who wanders the tunnels beneath the hotel's parking garage. Little fact, these tunnels were once part of LA's original trolley system. The red car was already in disuse, and they were also caved in to form the foundation of the Bonaventure. So, but yeah, apparently this redhead lady wanders down there, freaking people out. I don't know, maybe trying to get some dick in that ghost pussy. I don't know. What?
No.
What?
No, it's fucked up. Don't say that.
What's fucked up? The ghost pussy?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, they have no actual history of a redhead girl dying or any of this stuff. So, I mean, who knows if this redhead girl is actually true? But people seem to believe in it. I mean, it's worth enough for a pretty established author to actually put it in his book. So, I mean, I don't know. So maybe there's some truth to it. You never know. I mean, this guy, Colin Dickey, who wrote this book here, he's actually a skeptic. He doesn't really believe in all this stuff. It's actually a really well-written book because he goes into like the history of the hotel, and he just kind of describes everything in like a very vivid and like sometimes like psychological way of like what caused like some of these things. So it's a really good book. I suggest anyone to read it. I can't wait to read all of it. So drug dealers and a redhead lady.
Sounds legit.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's legit. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's really all I got here for the haunted hotels in LA. I mean, like I said, that was there's not much for the Bonaventure other than what has been described. So, but yeah, so I'd say go out and check out Ghostland: An American History in Haunted Places by Colin Dickey. It's a very good book. It takes you kind of all over the United States and goes from hotels to houses to prisons to brothels to insane asylums and to prisons and stuff like that of haunted things. And like I said, he's a skeptic and he does a pretty good job at just writing and contrasting everything. It's pretty beautiful. I mean, he was actually talking about like the Salem witch trials at one point, and what was it that he specifically said? He said something like, "What happened with the Salem witch trials? It was a mixture of sober religion and drunken hysteria." And I don't know, like that to me, that's just a really great fucking line for what happened. It's because he also describes essentially is what came down to there was no witches actually in the Salem witch trials at all.
No.
And most of these witches owned large plots of land.
Yeah.
And when, they became witches and everything like that, they were able to actually take the land from them and stuff like that. So I think it was more about property that actually happened in there.
Wait,
but yeah.
So the women owned large pieces of land and then were accused of being a witch?
Yes.
And then had their land taken away from them?
Yes.
Oh my god, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. No, there was two of them I can think of. The 2 or 3 of them actually like owned like large plots of land, and like one of the head judges, I forget the name of their family or whatever, but they had like a vendetta against these people, and then this person randomly got accused of being a witch. And just during law and stuff like that, be accused of becoming a witch and then getting burnt at the stake and everything like that. They're able to acquire your land. And what's actually kind of cool is over the years, these women actually got exonerated, and some property or some thing has been given back to them, except for the last one. There's one witch who didn't get exonerated till like the 50s or something like that.
Whoa.
And the only reason she got exonerated is because a bill went through in Massachusetts where they were able to exonerate her and not pay that family a dime for actually what exactly happened.
See, you don't gotta watch out for ghosts, witches, werewolves. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. It's other people. It's other fucking human beings who are selfish and greedy and just want to screw you over and will do anything to do it. I swear.
This might be a very pessimistic way of looking at it, but I think humans were inherently evil, but at the same time we're inherently good. So it's just that sometimes sometimes the evil just seems more appealing, because generally when you're being good, it's more non-selfish, unselfish.
You don't get what you want, but I mean, just be a good person. What the fuck is so wrong about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because really, just will what you want to be.
Yeah, get it.
That might sound pretty weird, but people do it. There's been whole religions based off, just like willing something, through thing like magic and like Aleister Crowley and stuff like that. Most of that wasn't even necessarily the devil or anything like that. Some people attribute it to the devil, but it's more just about doing weird ceremonies and rituals, and in the process you're basically just thinking about something positive that you want in your life, or something that you specifically want in your life, and just willing it into existence by doing these things. So I'm not saying going out and join these things, because I really don't know much about them other than what I've heard and by other podcasts. Just an example, yeah. But there's other ways to will things to be. So
this podcast took a turn.
Yep. Who knew that we are all getting all deep and spiritual up in this bitch?
Yep.
But yeah, so sorry about that. But yeah, like I said, just check out Ghostland. Very good book, very good writing, and thank you for listening to this podcast. I know I had a great time. Did you enjoy what you heard today?
It was interesting. Still didn't show me any ghosts.
Well, the point wasn't to show you any ghosts. I'm just telling you about possible ghost places. That's all I was telling you.
But half the time you were like, they didn't even die in the fucking hotel.
I know.
With at least the famous people.
See, that's the whole thing. Yeah, most of the celebrities. There's that one hotel where suicide and drop dead and shit like that. So that was possible. But, some of it was just like they lived there for years. Maybe that's more of like they left behind some energy, and somehow this energy manifested.
Just the hotel trying to get some people to come in saying, oh, hey, Elvis is haunting here. Come stay here and see his ghost.
Or just lonely people. Sometimes lonely people,
Not with that. That's just the hotels. I'm sorry. I'm going to call them out. That's just the hotels calling bull.
I'm sorry, hotels, if you ever listen to this in the future. because we're not popular right now. But fuck Gabby. I thought I was gonna be the one where you're gonna have to be like, come down, don't say some horrible shit about someone.
Well, I mean, they're tricking people. Like
All
maybe it is haunted, but don't say it's like a famous person just to get people to go there. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry.
You done?
I'm done for real.
Okay.
I promise.
All right. Well, that was the House on Podcast Hill. I just want to thank everybody for listening. We are talking about haunted places in Los Angeles. So if you live there, taking a trip soon, I suggest go check out the Cecil, definitely, because I feel like that is probably a very interesting place. And the Roosevelt's pretty popular. Like I said, Gabby's favorite YouTuber, Shane Dawson, I believe they made a video where they stayed overnight at this place. And I don't know everything how Shane Dawson does his videos. I trust him pretty much. But some creepy things happen, if I remember correctly,
some
with
creepy
it.
things happen, but I will admit they're over dramatic. They're just over dramatic people. So
Yeah, about to say Shane Dawson is over dramatic, just way over dramatic. So
but it's fun to watch. It's enjoyable.
So yeah. But go check out these places, just in case if you're ever interested. Some of these places are actually still running as hotels. Some of them are like apartment homes, like senior living homes and stuff like that too. So I don't know, just do your research and figure out where these places are and check them out if you're interested. But yeah, so that is us.
That is us.
So I guess we are gonna say goodbye. Good night, and just love each other, people.
Peace.
Just love. That's all we can really say. I am Zoe, and that is
Gabby.
Yep. And this is House on Podcast Hill. Love you all. Peace.